All right, today we're going to start adding our buildings. I'm just going to do a couple with you as example. You will have a perspective handout kind of packet that you can use to help you create some of your details on your building. For this assignment, we're going to require about 6 buildings. Okay, your buildings do have to have windows and doors, which are demonstrated here. You can add stairs, you can add signs to the top of your building, you can add canopies to the side, and then some buildings you can add kind of a siding effect or even a brick effect. Okay, so first things first, we're going to start our buildings. Now you have 2 options. You can kind of stack your buildings directly next to each other so that there isn't a gap between your buildings, or you can move them a little further apart, and then you could even create some little side streets to go through your buildings as well. Okay, so to begin, we're just going to start out by making a rectangle. Now I'm going to make this one kind of close to the edge over here because I would love to fill my paper as much as I can. So I'm going to start out by making a rectangle. So I need a vertical line. Actually, I'm going to not take it quite down to my sidewalk because I'd like to make a little walkway up to my building, I think. I'm going to scoot my ruler over. I'm going to eyeball it to make sure that it's as straight as I can possibly make it, and I'm going to create another vertical line. Okay, then I'm going to do a horizontal line on the bottom and a horizontal line on the top. Now, the front side of our building will have perpendicular lines. That means there's a 90-degree angle here. There are no diagonal or descending lines on the front face of any building. Okay, next I need to create the back side of my building. So I'm going to bring this top corner of my building to my vanishing point. So I'm going to line this up, and if it helps you, you can create that line. You can draw the line all the way to the vanishing point if you need to. Otherwise, as long as you're comfortable, you can draw a line back and then just kind of stop wherever you'd like the back side of your building to be. So I'm going to do that to the top corner and down here on the bottom. And then so these are my descending lines. Next, I need to create the back edge of my building, which has to be a line that is parallel to this front corner here. So I'm going to line my ruler up, and I'm very slowly and carefully going to slide it over. I'm going to be careful not to scooch it one way or the other. We don't want it to look like our building is toppling over or crooked. So I'm going to line it up, scoot it over without wiggling one way or the other, and draw my line down, just like that. Any extra line in there, we're going to go ahead and erase. I'm not going to focus right now on doing windows or doors, anything like that. I just want to get my buildings laid out on my paper. Okay, so my next building, actually, I could bring right off the side of, or the front side of this building. I could add a building back here. I could do all of my buildings kind of just traveling back into space if I wanted to. My next one, I'm actually going to overlap slightly. So I'm going to pretend like this building isn't even here, and I'm going to draw my rectangle. Okay, now as you can see, I have overlapped right here. So this part of my building becomes no more. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of it now. Okay, now I'm going to take these 2 points to my vanishing point. And then I'm going to just add the back side of my building just like I did with the first. Now, one thing that I would like for you to keep in mind is that my buildings are starting below my horizon line and they're finishing above my horizon line. If you were to draw your entire building below the horizon line, then you would be drawing from what's called the bird's eye view. You would then be able to see the top of the building. For now, we're just going to draw our human eye view. So we need to make sure that our building is down here below and just above. Next, I'm going to draw my last building kind of over here in the background. I think I'll start the front of it, or the front side of it here, And since this one is behind, I'm going to bring this rectangle down behind. I'm not going to draw right here because, again, it is kind of off in the background. I'll have the bottom of my building here. It'll be tucked behind that little one there in front. And I think I'm going to not bring it up quite as high as I did on that side. I'm going to make that adjustment. Okay, then from here, I'm going to connect to my vanishing point. And however far back you draw these descending lines is going to create the depth of that building. So if I wanted this building to seem like it's going really far back into the distance, I could have my line clear over here or even closer to the vanishing point, really, if I wanted to. Or if I want it to be more of a shallow building, I could scoot that line towards that front corner. I'm going to go about halfway there and erase those lines. Okay, now since I've got some space here between my buildings, I'm going to go ahead and draw a horizontal line over that connects from my street and a horizontal line over. And then I would erase this part of my sidewalk. And now I've opened that up for a little bit of a side street. Okay, if we're starting over here, I think I'm going to have the first part of my building. This one I'm going to have go off of my paper. Connect that to my vanishing point. Draw the back side of my building. And erase. My next building, I think I will draw here. Bring down to my vanishing point. And then I'm going to show you here on this next building, I want it to be directly next to this one. So this back line here that I've drawn, I'm just going to extend that up. And then I'm going to connect that top line down to my vanishing point. And then the back side of that building is going to come over, and I'm just going to draw my line down. So then that gives the appearance that this building is directly next to and in front of that building there. And this one here, I think I'm going to make that quite a bit longer here. So go ahead and connect that. Erase. Okay, and I think I will make this part here just a little side street that connects. And maybe I'll do just one little building way back here in the distance. This little guy is going to be pretty small, but all of the rules are the same. You have horizontal and vertical lines on the front of your building meeting at 90-degree angles, and then the back side or the back, top, and bottom of your building are descending lines using that vanishing point, just like that. After you have your city laid out and you're happy with the amount of buildings that you have, then we can go ahead and start adding the detail.